Hello everyone again. For those who have just tuned in for YouTube, I am back finally with my Lord of the Rings online playthrough. Last time, and this was like 8 months ago, we were aiding Halberad, I believe, in Esteldin. And yes, I did look this up in my old video because, God, that was so long ago. And we aided Halberad in defending this town called Trestlebridge. And in between streams, I made the journey towards Rivendell. So I figured we'd enter that place together. So let's get on cracking. Oh boy. Ah, thank God. I thought for a second there the client was crashing. And while we're at it, let me give a quick shout out to Busy, who is also a very, very wonderful streamer. If only I could type that correctly. And almost do it wrong again a second time. And do another shout out to I love this kitty. Oh, I have to wait apparently for another shout out, so I'll wait for that. Of course I have to shout you out, Busy. If you shout me out, I shout you out. Simple as that. Yes, exactly, Kuroi. Busy does deserve the love. Hello, Generic Vibes. Welcome in. Unfortunately, it seems we are currently in nighttime, in-game time. So we won't be able to see as much as I would have liked, but I'll show you the map real quick. So we have ventured into the Lone Lands before, and off stream I ventured across these lands again and through the Troll Shores to, as you can see, the gates of Rivendell. Oh God, now I have to, how do I mod stuff again? I have to go to my own stream, don't I? Let me get rid of this. Ban. I don't like spammers. Goodbye. Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah. We are at the gates of Rivendell, and we are about to enter the last homely home. But before we do that, now that some time has passed, let me shout out like my good friend and let me get the spelling correctly. Rock was taken. Rock has been streaming for a while, and I've absolutely loved, and I mean loved, to absolutely bonk on him. So that's what I do every single time I join his stream. I just bonk him. Rock is amazing. 3.5 years already? That's a long time to be streaming. Well, anyways, let us go. So let me get on my horse here and see if we can get a view of Rivendell here. Like, we can see a little bit in the darkness through the trees. I'm not sure whether you can see this on stream, but there's this waterfall up in the distance. So let's follow this trail and get a little bit closer. See what Rivendell looks like in this game. There we go! That's the first we see of Rivendell. The elven towers, elven architecture through the trees, and there it is. The actual house of Elrond. Even in the darkness it looks absolutely stunning. It is very interesting to know, and we've probably talked about this before, but Elrond, also called Half-Elven, is actually descended from one of the earliest men of the world, and is brother to Elros, who is a forebear of Aragorn. And Elrond, oh god, this has been such a long time since I've talked about Elrond, but he's also one of the, if not the most prolific healer known to Middle-earth at this time, which is also why Elrond's house is also called the House of the Healer, or at least I think so. It's been way too long. Anyways, let us continue, because we have a quest to follow. Also, apparently this is, I think, the 15th anniversary for Lord of the Rings Online, but we're not gonna follow that. Oop, almost ran off the edge there. We're not gonna do side quests. Let us just continue while I have a sip of tea from a mug that was gifted to me by friends, and I think that especially Rock will like this tea mug. Look how happy these kitties are. Look at that! I mean, it's nighttime, so the sun shining through is a bit weird, but the architecture is amazing. And we've got Gimli and Legolas here, and there's Aragorn.
I thank you for this news.
Oh, that I could be there to aid in those matters. But it would seem my fate lies to the south and not the north. I will compose a message for Halberad and ask Master Elrond if one of his elves could carry it to Esteldin. You have done enough, and you have my thanks. For now, take what ease you can here in Rivendell. And we can select some reward. Let's see what we find. That's not really useful. That semi-useful, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll take this. Let's quickly equip that. Press the right buttons.
Greetings.
Hold on.
Greetings.
Now, I don't know where the main quest went, but let's see if we can do this. And otherwise, I'll just look it up, I guess. I have borne this broken blade for many long years, Elaine, always unused, for these are the shards of Narsil. You must know the tale, though much of it took place following your wounding at Dagorlad. Yes, Narsil was intact when you would have beheld it, but it broke beneath Elendil in battle with Sauron upon the slopes of Orodruin. There is much to digest here. Narsil was the blade that was wielded by Elendil, one of the kings of Gondor of old. Dagorlad was the main battle site where the armies of Sauron were broken at the end of the Second Age. And in the prologue for my character, we actually took part in that battle. And in that battle, we were wounded and slept for 3,000 years in the care of the healers of Elrond. So let's continue. Though Gil-galad had fallen and Elendil was slain, two still stood against the might of Sauron in the shadow of that fell tower. Isildur, the son of the king, and Elrond Half-Elven, herald of Gil-galad. It was with the hilt shard of Narsil that Isildur cut the one ring from Sauron's finger, and the power of the Dark Lord was broken. The light of Narsil was extinguished, but the shards came again to the north, though Isildur himself never returned from the Gladden fields. The shards have been passed from father to son in his line for years beyond count, but the sword has never been remade. The old victories did not last, Elaine, and the shadow has returned. We have need of Narsil's light once more. The blade must be reforged. Speak with Hemeldir at the forges here in Rivendell, in the northwest corner of the Vale, and tell him of my decision. I would have him know that Narsil is to be remade. So, let us find this Hemeldir. Now, obviously, I know a lot more of what will happen with the shards of Narsil and the blade that was reforged, but I will wait with that until we've actually got there in game, because I believe that during our quest we will actually find that Narsil will be reforged, just like Aragorn is requesting here. And in the meantime, let us just take in these gorgeous, gorgeous carvings on these pillars here. I absolutely can't get enough of these elven architectures. Well, I am sorry to say, unfortunately, we were looking right down the horse's backside. Now, as for those of you who haven't been to my stream before, I think I'm going wrong here. Yep, I'm definitely going wrong. Because I am recording this for YouTube for a wide audience, and I would like people of all ages to enjoy both the writings of Tolkien, the work that the developers have done on this game, as well as the narrative that goes into it. With that comes my content. At least for the Lord of the Rings part, I would like chat to be family friendly. So no swearing, please.
Greetings to you.
Narsil is to be reforged? My heart would be filled with joy at this news, friend, for Aragorn and for all of Middle-earth, if it were possible. The shards were kept a while in Imladris for safekeeping, and I often gazed upon them. It is with sadness that I must tell you that reforging the sword may not be possible. Its history is known to me, long and storied as it is. But I will tell you only the portion that causes me to grieve. Of old elves of the house of Fëanor crafted numerous wonders, items of great power and beauty. Among these were the Silithar, adamants possessed of the light of the stars. The dwarf smith Telha used one of these stones in the creation of Narsil, and the Silithar it was that caused the blade to glow with silver light when wielded in battle. All of the Silithar were lost during the long centuries since the forging of Narsil. Without such a stone to use in the reforging, the sword will never achieve the greatness it once had. I am sorry. Bring this news to Aragorn with my sorrow. Now there's a lot to digest here. Oh, sorry about that. Now, I'm not too familiar with the history of the blade itself, especially not with something called the Silithar. However, I can tell you about Fëanor and a little bit about Telha. Fëanor was by far the greatest elven smith that ever lived. He was the son of what was it again? Finn? Well, regardless, he was the son of one of the three original elves who were taken to Valinor, and as such possessed great strength in many different ways. when he was still young, Fëanor crafted the Silmarils, which captured the light of the two trees. And unfortunately, the two trees were later slain, and the Silmarils were then claimed as like the last remnant of that light that could revitalize those trees. But Fëanor was extremely proud. He refused. But even worse, it was at that time that Melkor, as he was still called at that point, I believe, came to the house of Fëanor, slew his father, and stole the Silmarils. It was at that point, I think, that Fëanor called him Morgoth, the enemy. And I could go into like a long story about like how Fëanor got to Middle-earth, how his house caused untold grief over his oath that he would not suffer anyone other than his family to touch the Silmarils. But I'm not gonna go into it at this point, because that is a long story. However, I will say a little bit about Telhar, because if I remember correctly, he was one of the dwarfsmiths from Nogrod, which I believe was the main dwarven stronghold at that time, and Moria, or Khazad-dûm, at that time was just an outpost. And unless I'm very much mistaken, Telhar crafted, I believe, the Nauglamir, which is a great necklace for, God, what was his name again? Well, one of the fathers of, forefathers of, just grandfather actually, I believe, of Elrond. And it could be that the stones that were set in that necklace were these Silithair, but I am not sure. At any rate, let's continue.
Hail, friend, and well met.
Have to go back to Aragorn, tell him of the news that the sword as it stands cannot be reforged. By the way, if you guys want to know more about these kinds of
What do you need?
histories and lore,
Hail,
just
friend, and well met.
let me know, and
Make of honor.
obviously
Sweet-eyed Melon.
I will indulge
Hail,
you.
friend, and well met.
All this running around. I also love how this massive tree maybe fell or was moved here has been cut into like this awesome looking bridge, and that these branches are as thick as young tree trunks. Back to Aragorn we go. Oh, Boromir! He's here too.
Greetings.
You have returned from speaking with Hemeldir? What did he have to say about the reforging of Narsil? Oh, I see. Hemeldir is a fine smith, but he shares the dour outlook of his people. Do not take offence, Elaine. I say this in jest. If Hemeldir needs a Silithar to reforge the sword of Elendil, we will find for him a Silithar.
Greetings.
There we go. When I was very young, my father Arathorn was slain by orcs, and my mother brought me to stay here at Rivendell. I was called Estelle by my mother Gilrain, and by all those who dwelt in the vale. And I rode far afield seeking adventure with the sons of Elrond. I considered him my father as much as did Elladan and Elrohir. I can imagine that, Biz. Lord of the Rings, even from its very conception, was meant to be a myth with, all the intricacies that means, because Tolkien thought that Britain was lacking in its own mythology. There was the tale of King Arthur, but that's not so much myth as that is like, sort of a retelling of what actually happened. King Arthur was really fun to study, but it's not really a myth, I think. Tolkien was the same, and he really wanted to write a myth like a Beowulf, like the old mythology of Greece, and especially Beowulf. Tolkien absolutely loved Beowulf to bits, but because of that, because of this idea to create a new myth, it means that Lord of the Rings had a much deeper origin than many tales you would think of. Like what I talked about just earlier about the Silmarils, that is just a tiny bit of the origin story. In the book The Silmarillion, there's like the first chapter takes about 20 to 30 pages, just talking about the creation of the universe that we know, of Middle-earth. And it talks about gods and sub-gods and how things came to be, about ages and ages and ages. And Lord of the Rings itself is but a tiny part of that history. Sauron, for example, the big baddie of the Lord of the Rings, is only a lieutenant to Morgoth. So yes, undeniably, well, very great in power. He's but a mote of air when it compares to Morgoth himself. And against this backdrop, yeah, it's gonna be hard to understand everything that is happening, because I believe we're currently in the year, I think, 3000 something, of the Third Age. The Second Age lasted, I think, around 4000 years. The First Age lasted about 6000, I believe. And then there were the times before that, the times in Valinor. So, yeah, the history of Middle-earth is so incredibly vast that sometimes it's really hard to understand and get a grasp on what is going on in this tiny, tiny area of that entire history. Anyway, back to the story. Quick thing, we have here that Aragorn was called Estel, and I believe I did talk about that a little bit in the previous stream / video I did, where Estel, it translated is hope, and that's why probably the town that we were before, Esteldine. I'm not exactly sure what Din is, but it's got to do something with hope. So let's continue. At the age of 20, Lord Elrond took me aside and told me my true name and of my heritage, that I descended in unbroken line from Elendil of old. He gave to me the ring of Barahir and the shards of Narsil, but he withheld the scepter of Annúminas, saying I had yet to earn it. He withheld too another treasure, but I will not speak of that. The ring of Barahir actually is an incredibly important item among the kings of old. I believe that the ring of Barahir was given to Barahir by the original High King of the Elves in Middle-earth, Fingon, to one of the very first men that came to serve the old elves. And for that ring to be in possession of Aragorn signifies not only his lineage from Elendil, but the lineage of the first men who came to be elf friends. Very, very important that. As for the scepter of Annúminas, let me pull up the map real quick. Annúminas is a city up in the north of Eriador. Like right over here, it's north of the Shire. Annúminas used to be the capital of the kings of Gondor, while their reign spread across the entirety of the Western world. So the Scepter of Anuminas basically indicates that that is the true king of Gondor. Soon afterward, I went in search of a Silithar with which Narsil might be reforged. Yes, I knew then of the ancient Silithar and of the needful one. But I was young, and I did not pass the test that was set before me. The time had not come for Narsil's remaking. I have a message from Master Elrond. Bring it to him faithfully, and return with his words, and I will better know how to proceed. Here is my message. I know now that Gwyndeth sought of me in the watery darkness, and I am prepared to give it. Elendil was a wiser man than I. I await your return, Elaine. Now we have to go talk to Elrond. And for the first time since we started this journey, we will return to the last homely home. The home of Lord Elrond Half-Elven the Healer. Just look at how gorgeous that looks. Oh my god. Now, also have a quick look at the location. We're somewhere in a valley in the middle of the mountains, and there are only a few ways in and out across rivers and waterfalls, across a fast-flowing river, and two roads, one north, one south. Both probably very easily defended. So this place was most likely not just chosen for its aesthetics, although admittedly those aesthetics are absolutely amazing. It was also chosen because of how easily this place is to defend. As long as you have the supplies, you could defend this place with only a small forge for a long, long time. Let's grab the stable master real quick, so we don't have to do that later on. Or we can fast travel here if we want to. Meantime, let's see what this pop-up does. Indeed, bestowed. Wanderer of Elmin. Okay. Questing. Oh boy. No. Let me check. Elrond is in the library on the top floor of the last homely home. Okay. So we gotta go up. And I'm sorry if I have to cough now and then, or blow my nose and everything, but I am I have a horrible cold. Okay, let's go into Elrond's library. Where are you, sir? Down there, I suppose. Yep. Okay, that's crafting. Now, where's Elrond at? Oh, right over there. And just look at this. Like, even though we're inside, everything looks, feels organic. Plants and trees everywhere. This is so amazing. I love this.
Will you lend me your aid once more?
Aragorn has travelled many roads since his early failure in the tomb of his great ancestor. What would Grindeath make of him now, I wonder? You look puzzled, my friend, and why should you not? You spent these years recovering from your wound at Daggerland. Do not despair. I will explain my words to you and give counsel to him whom I once called Estelle.
Hope is not in vain.
Aragorn came to us when he was only 2 years of age, his father Arathorn having been slain by the arrows of the orcs. Gilrain feared for a child's safety and brought him to Imladris, seeking to keep the fact of his birth from the eyes of the enemy. I bade Gilrain keep his true name and lineage secret, and she called him instead Estelle, or Hope. When he reached 20 years of age, I saw that he had come early to manhood, and I gave to him knowledge of his lineage and the name his father had given him, Aragorn, a strong name. Full of hope was he on that day, but he soon would be laid low with a love far above his station. For walking in the woods near sunset of the next day he encountered Arwen, my daughter, and was stricken with love for her. I do not know why he went to Annúminas, but I always believed he made the journey to prove himself he was worthy of loving such a maid. He went to that ancient city, long deserted, in the company of my sons and with Calenglad, a ranger that came at times to Imladris. Calenglad did not return from Aragorn's journey to the city of his fathers, and when next I saw Aragorn, the experience had left its mark upon him. Return to Aragorn and tell him that I agree the time has come for Narsil to be reforged, and I will give it to it a new name, Underhill, Flame of the West. We will have need of its light before the end. Now, Elrond has revealed to us that the treasure that Elrond withheld from Aragorn is in fact his own daughter. And considering that Arwen is, well, pretty old, maybe not so old in Elven standards, I'm not actually sure how old she is. I'm gonna go and look that up real quick. Just bear with me. Going to the one wiki. She was born in the year 241 of the Third Age. It is now early on in the year 3000 of the Third Age, so she is almost 2800 years old. You might imagine that Elrond, having lived even longer than that, was not so keen on his daughter dating a mere 20-year-old human who, even though he is directly descended from Elendil and had most likely a lifespan far beyond that of mere humans. In fact, we know from the annals that Aragorn lived to be, I believe, about 500 years old, which was still a long time for the men directly descended from oh god, what's the island called again? From Numenor. But 500 years for elves is but a fleeting moment. So yes, I can imagine that he was not really keen on his daughter dating a mortal. In fact, it only happened once before, and that is in the tale of Beren and Luthien. And if you've seen the movies, actually, upon the slopes of what's the hill called again? Weathertop. Aragorn sang about the song of that story, which is not exactly a happy story, because a lot of woe befell those two. So let's continue. Let me also see what...
A strange fate brings you hither.
Okay. That is going to be a main quest. But I will wait with that until I actually finish. Wait, I can already pick it up.
Will you lend me your aid once more?
Yeah, let me pick that up. Sorry about that. Getting caught a little bit off guard. I would have preferred not to pick this up until I've done the Aragorn storyline quest. However, I'm afraid I will forget, so I better do it now. So the further adventure begins on October in the year 3018, before Book 4, Chapter 1, Where's the Horse and the Rider? Be aware that you may find yourself traveling through more dangerous areas of Middle-earth throughout this adventure. Elaine, I have an undertaking that I believe you would be suited for. Servers of the enemy, under the guise of riders in black, recently tried to cross the Brunnen. The river's waters swept them away at my command. Perhaps they no longer threaten Imladris, but we cannot be certain. Scouts have been sent out to determine whether the Black Riders truly fell at the ford. My sons will soon set out to do the same, but I have also entrusted them with an errand of their own. I would ask that you travel with them to Lothlorien to meet with their grandmother, Lady Galadriel. Though I cannot fully reveal the purpose of their errand, I trust that the three of you will keep each other safe. Aladdin waits for you outside. May your search bear fruit. Now, as I said, I'm not going to follow up on that quest for some time, as I first want to finish the story about Narsil Reforged, or as we know it, it's going to be Andrew. First, let's return to Aragorn. Run around. Always fun to run around. But at least these are short trips, so we can bear with it. Like, imagine having to run halfway across Middle-earth just because you haven't gotten the fast travel points yet. Ah. Like, at least in Expedition 33, the world map is fairly compact, isn't it, Kuroi?
Greetings.
I am glad that Master Elrond agrees with my decision, for his counsel is near to my heart. It is true that I journeyed in my youth to Annúminas, the city of my fathers. Even then it had stood empty for long years, but it was once the shining jewel of my people, and I desired to see it with my own eyes. I thought too that if I recovered the Silithar that lay within Annúminas, the only one of the stones to remain in this bend of the world, I might reforge Narsil and prove myself worthy of the fate to which I had been born. Aladdin and Elro here accompanied me on my journey to Evendin, and my kinsman Calanglad also. He had sworn an oath to my father, and renewed it in my name before we departed. Much of the city had already been reclaimed by the waters of Lake Nenuel. Lake Nenuel. Nenuel. That one is a mouthful. When we survived, I despaired of finding the Silithar within the flooded tomb where it lay. But lo, the maiden Gwyndeth appeared before us and charged me with a task to prove my worthiness of receiving the Silithar. My youthfulness betrayed me, though at the form of a man I had not wisdom or experience, and Gwyndeth found me wanting. The Silithar was not to be mine that day. When I stood before the flooded pages of Elendil's empty tomb on the outskirts of Annúminas, I believed it right that Narsil be reforged. I could not understand why Gwyndeth refused me access to the Silithar. Now I believe I understand.
Greetings.
Long years have passed, and I have not seen Calanglad since that day. He did not return with me. He had become enamored of Gwyndeth and Lake Nenuel, and chose to remain behind. I offered to free him from his oath to me, but he refused, saying, "You are my lord, and have power over me, but I ask that you allow me to remain here. I will keep watch over the city and safeguard the lake until such time as you return. In this way I will uphold my oath." Calanglad has remained at Tinadir ever since. I would rejoice to speak with him again, but preparations are underway for a journey of great danger and importance. More important even than the reforging of Narsil. And I cannot journey to Anuminas. But you, my friend, you can bring to Galanglad my words and tell him that we now have true need of Basilithar where once we did not. Bring this letter to Galanglad, Eileen, and remember that you act in my stead. You are my agent to Tinanir, an island on the eastern shore of Lake Nenual, in Evendim, and we speak with one voice. Always remember that respect cannot be bought, but must be earned. Do not undervalue it, and we shall yet see Andrew reforged from the shards of Narsil. Okay, that's the letter, which we will not read because that's private. Now, where do we need to go? To Evendim. Now, Evendim is right over here. That's where we need to go, and I think we might just be able to take a fast travel point there, or at least close to it. So let us go find the stable master that we saw just a bit earlier and see what we can do here. It's just around the corner, just beyond that first arch that we took a closer look at.
How can I be of service?
Where do we... are we able to go? Standing. Some shores. Do we have even down here? I believe so.
Sweet-eyed Melon.
Yeah. No. Okay.
What can I do
then
for you?
We will take the fast travel point to Esteldine, I think. Yeah, Esteldine. And then from there, we will take a regular horse towards Evendim. Now, I believe I've already gotten a stable master, at least close to that. So, let's check that. Oh, look at that! Look at the elk! Now that would be an amazing mount to get. Oh my god, look at how... I would love that mount. Okay.
What can I do for you?
So I do not seem to have the fast travel point for Evendim, but I know I can get there fairly quick from Amon Wraith, so I am
What do you
going
need?
to set myself to travel there, and while I'm doing so I am going to get something to clear my nose because it's getting bad. I'll be right back in a couple of minutes, I think, so See you in a bit. And I'm back. I also brewed me some tea, so I can have like a little bit of warm tea to And it's not quite done yet, it's still... God, I don't even know what the English word for that is. The tea itself is still being... well, as you can see, it's a work in progress, okay? So, okay, so we took a short trip, went from here to here by quick horse, and now I'm going to travel the rest of the way myself. And we did some earlier questing around this area, so I know fairly well which way to go. And yeah, it's just a short trip to Evendim. It's too bad that I couldn't get a fast travel there, but oh well. We make do with what we have, I suppose. I'm still going the right way. I am still going the right way. Kind of feels I'm not with these spooky looking ruins over the horizon, but I know there's a pass up ahead. Please go away. Almost there, I think. As we can see. Almost there. Go away! Got freaky ghosts. Oh! Okay, now that we have finally gotten into a bit of, well, I suppose some easier territory, even though by the looks of it the possible wildlife here is quite a bit more dangerous than what we went through earlier. We should be fine. This is a very wide road, so we shouldn't encounter too much in the way of enemies here. Now, I think this is the first time that we're actually looking upon the architecture of Gondor, or Old Gondor. And as you can see, it's quite old indeed, in a state of disrepair and a lot of ruins, but still the artisanry, the way that this statue just looks over the entire four, is it? The four cardinal directions of the wind? Looks like it. Still looks really nice. I won't say it's the same as elven architecture or dwarven architecture, but I absolutely love the elven architecture, and in a way, I really enjoy the dwarven architecture as well. And while without a doubt, human architecture is gorgeous in its own right, it's not the same for me as the architecture of the elves and dwarves.
What do you need?
Fast travel point unlocked. Yay! Now let's find, what's his name again? Calenglad? Calenglad. There we are.
How can I be of service?
What is that you have there? A letter from Aragorn? Let me see it. What is it you call yourself? Elaine? I am sorry, but this note is not enough. Tomb robbers have plundered the vaults and tombs of Annúminas, seeking to despoil the heritage of the Dunedain. This could be a forgery intended to relax our guard. Nay, I am afraid I cannot trust the words of this letter. How am I to know you are true? Deeds, not words, matter to me. Let's get some healing
How can I be of
drops.
service?
You put me in a difficult situation, Elaine. I cannot, in good conscience, help you without first administering a test of your character. But if you are indeed sent by Aragorn, any delay is an affront to my lord. I will not make this decision alone. Render your aid to the rest of my brethren, to Astium, Forchon, and Nithman. Once they are satisfied that you are indeed of good character and do not have villainous motives, I will consider your petition once more. You will find my fellow rangers here at Tinadir. If, however, you prove false, I will have you cast into the lake with any of your robber friends that I catch. Ugh, harsh words, but I suppose I can understand it. So let's find his friends. There's Nithman.
Stay a moment.
Calenglad is a wise ranger who has seen many summers, and I trust his judgment as my own. If he is not convinced of your honesty, I remain unconvinced as well. North of Tinadir, in Tern Fornach, an ancient stone overlook stands watch atop one of the tallest hills. Jabe Grimshaw, leader to one of the robber bands that has caused us so much trouble, plans his band's activities from its heights. If you seek to prove yourself to me and Calenglad, you will put an end to Jabe Grimshaw. You will find Barad Rath, the flat stone platform atop the tall hills of Tern Fornach, northeast of Tinadir and north of Tham Ornan. You will find Jabe there as well. Okay, well, that's a simple quest to get rid of a highwayman. Let's see what Astiel wants us to do.
Might I take a moment of your time?
I am not as suspicious of your identity as Calenglad, but I will do as he wishes. You must prove to me that you have an honest heart and are not allied with those who seek to plunder my Dunedain heritage. Jetsam sometimes washes onto the shore of this island from out in the lake, and the tomb robbers seek it out in search of jewels and other valuable trinkets. These pieces once belonged to the law-abiding people of Arnor and to their kings in Annúminas. We cannot allow the robbers to get their hands on any more of them. Follow the island's western shore northward, Elaine, and look for jetsam among the reeds. I would be interested in seeing any damp pottery shards you can recover. Beware of tomb robbers, for they seek the same things, though for very different reasons. Return to me when you have gathered enough fragments, and I will see if you have recovered anything of interest. And finally, Forhon.
Could I speak with you a moment?
You say you have been sent here by Aragorn? Sure you have. And I am Arvidwi, the last king. Kaliningrad is right not to trust you, if you ask me. Still, I am not going to turn down a helping hand. If you can convince me that you are not a robber trying to make off with precious relics of the Dunedain, I will put in a good word for you with Kaliningrad. But you will not have it easy. Bats and bargats have begun creeping into Path Ardual from the fields of Fornost, and we rangers have been too busy dealing with the tomb robbers of Emendim to drive off the creatures. Head east toward Fornost, defeat the winged beasts and their fell hounds in Path Ardual, and then return to me with word of your deeds. Okay. Let's see which way I have to go. So, right over here, a little bit north and to the east. Okay, that should be fairly simple. Let's go straight north first. I think that's the Flotsam quest. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Lord of the Rings Online, you can see here that these quests are in orange and white. White means that it's a level appropriate quest, and orange means it's a little bit above your level. However, I believe we can easily deal with those. Hey, old Jack. Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on what you want to get out of the experience, of course. But to me personally, aside from the fact that I absolutely love the aesthetics of this game, and I love the lore that has gone into this game, it also has a free-to-play part. So, well, I think the entire game is free-to-play. But yeah, if you are new to MMOs, I believe that the system is, yeah. I don't know how to say this. Most MMOs I play tend to have like very good mechanics to help you ease you into the game. I would say that after about 30-40 levels ish, things are starting to get a little bit more complicated. But I don't believe that is necessarily a bad thing. It will help you to understand the game better than if you just had to do easy stuff all the time. And I know that World of Warcraft, for example, tends to try to keep things as easy as possible so that new players ease into it, like, well, as easy as possible. But that is not always the experience that you want. And to have to be able to invest time into understanding the mechanics and everything actually helps you to gain a better appreciation for the game itself. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this game. Now, because cool, that's amazing. Because you're new here, I am going the wrong way here. I'm going to explain a little bit of what I'm doing. I have started playing on this particular character because I wanted to do more of an in-depth lore series on Lord of the Rings, playing through Lord of the Rings Online. So I will often stop to discuss certain parts in the game, and I hope you will enjoy that part of it as well, because, as I said, this game is incredibly rich in lore. The developers have... I can't even adequately describe how much love they put into this game. I mean, they have references to like all the books that Tolkien wrote. And it's just amazing how much they managed to put the references in without overloading you with information. I need one more. Like earlier on, when we were taking the quest that led up to this one, the lore spoke of Feanor and Telhar, which
What do you need?
to a Tolkien buff like me is like absolutely amazing to see that put in there. But it doesn't go into like a massive explanation on why it's so important and why those characters are so important. Just that they were there. So it gives you a sense of the richness of history without going into an actual history lesson. Because that's what I'm here for. Right? That's the last of the Jetsam. Now we have to go north. Let's do a little bit of swimming. And if I remember correctly, we have to get rid of this bandit called Jabe Grimshaw. Now, another thing that is good to note is that this game has like a million side quests you can do, well, that's no different from any good MMO in my opinion. However, one of the most important things that I believe this game has is also the fact that it has like a very clear main quest line called books, and they are... oh, I am getting attacked by this tomb robber, so let's quickly get rid of him. There he goes. Before I move on here, because I know I'm going to get distracted by combat, Oh god, where was I? Oh right, the main quest. No. Open the... where was it again? I will show completed. So it's divided up in books, and that will often tell you, like, for now, the prologue of The Lord of the Rings. And while there have been a few times where I had to do a couple of side quests to catch up in level, a lot of it I could actually... do I have to go here? No, I can go around this. As I said, a lot of the times you can just forgo side quests and just focus on the main quest. And that to me, especially as a lore fanatic in a way, is pretty priceless. Okay, I have to get up there, I think. Let's see if I can reach it from this side. Oh boy, big bear, big bear. In this game, the color scheme for enemies is actually quite simple. A sort of faded grey for enemies way below your level, a light blue for enemies below your level, same goes for quests by the way, then a white for enemies that are exactly your level, or I think 2 or 3 levels around that, orange for enemies a couple levels above that, red for, well, dangerous ones, and then finally purple for enemies that are definitely out of your league. However, so far I have found that this game is fairly easy on you, and I've been able to fairly easily take out like even red enemies. Where am I going? Where do I need to be going? Okay. Should be over here somewhere. Oh, there he is. No, he's gone already. I think he was orange and he was an elite. That's also one of the things that you will notice in this game, that normal enemies will have like this kind of portrait frame, but elite enemies tend to have like this angry red frame that kind of looks like, in a way, resembles the Eye of Sauron. I don't think I will be able to find any around here. But I'll show you as soon as I can get there. Also, this game has, I think, the best looting system that I've ever encountered. Basically what happens is that when you defeat an enemy, the loot that you can get will sort of get stored in a temporary container that you can open and empty at any given time. That is until you load something, I guess. So you don't have to go to all the enemies you've defeated one by one. You just go on a questing spree, and you can pick up your loot anytime you want. So easy, so beginner friendly. Where am I at, and what do I need to do? Bats and podcasts. There's a bat. A barghest, which is basically some sort of wolf. I think they could best be described as fell wolves. Oh. As I said, I've defeated like half a dozen enemies right now, and I can just click on this, loot all, and everything will automatically go to my inventory. So easy. Okay, one more bat to go. There it is. And done. Now we can go back. Quickly get rid of the pop-ups. And take the long road home. Ooh, I should reset that one. Um, for those who don't know, like this game has a couple of ways to fast travel. The easiest and most known is by horse, but you can also take up milestones, and the milestones will allow you to like just immediately travel there, which will save you a lot of hassle. And unfortunately, I kind of forgot to save a milestone in Rivendell, but at least that's a travel hub, so it should be fairly easy to return there when I need to. But as soon as I return there, I will definitely get the milestone, so it's going to be easier to return to. And I'm going to do the same thing for Tinudir, because I have a feeling I might be returning from quests here now and then.
What can I do for you?
You return, and in victory, I confess that I did not fully expect either of those tidings. There is more work to be done, Elaine.
Could I speak with you a moment?
It is not yet enough, Elaine. I need you to show me that you hold the history of the Dunedain as important as I or Astil. If Calenglad does decide to help you, I will not be held responsible if you turn to plunder. In Path Adwal, just north of the road that runs to the fields of Fornost, there is a small graveyard called Gothost. The names, birth dates and death dates listed on the stones there have not been recorded. Take this charcoal and this parchment and make rubbings of the graves at Gothost. Beware of the bats and barghest that are sure to prowl nearby. Gothost is by a collapsed wall north of the ruins of Ostherrin, and also north of the road. If you return from this errand, our ancestral records will be more complete, and you may have proved your worth to me. Perhaps. Now he kind of sounds like the guy who will need, like, eternal convincing.
What do you need?
You have returned, Elaine, and with some shard of Evandim's history, I trust.
Would you do something for me?
You have recovered quite a few artifacts and bits of pottery from the shores of the lake, Elaine, so now we need to sort out the valuable pieces from the rest. I've been separating the pieces I have collected by size in each of these mats, so if you do the same, I would appreciate it. Then I examine them easily for clues to the history. It should not take long. So let's see about our small salvage pieces, medium salvage pieces, and our large pieces. Easy as that.
What can I do for you?
Thank you for your help, Elaine. Knifeman thinks such efforts are fruitless, and that any time spent out of battle with the tomb robbers is time wasted. But I disagree. We must salvage whatever remnants of our history from them we can, whether through combat or the avoidance of it. You have a good heart and a helpful spirit, Elaine. I believe that you are indeed a friend of Aragorn, and I will tell Calenglad as much. Thank you again for your efforts. Oh, the hoops we have to jump through to get Underrule forged. But it's
What
for
can I
good
do for
cause. Grimshaw is no more. This is excellent news, Elaine, and I begin to believe your tale. It is not yet enough, I'm afraid, but perhaps you are telling the truth. If you succeed at my next errand, will be free of debt.
Would you do something for me?
While you were confronting Jabe Grimshaw in Ternfornach, a ranger named Panteskal sent word of many boggards advancing towards the ruins of House Brumbar. Brumbar was a Dunedain line of no small importance before the abandonment of Anuminas, and we must keep the grounds of that ancient manor safe from treasure seekers, though the buildings are mostly gone. Panteskal did not seem overly concerned about this band of boggards, but I would be put more at ease if you stood with him. The creatures are cowardly, but in great numbers even the weakest of foes can pose a threat. The house of Brumbar are north and east of Tinadir, in Path Ardual. Cross the bridge to the mainland and follow the shore northward. Brumbar is little more than crumbling walls, but we cannot allow the boggards to befoul its memory. Okay. So some rubbings, some combat. Where do I go? Okay, way over there. And a little bit north. Okay. We can do this. Also, I think at some point I level up and I hadn't even noticed. Go away, tomb robber. I have no need for you.
What do you need?
Northman has sent you. I do not think I will have need of your assistance, but I know better than to refuse help earnestly offered. These boggards are weak, but their great numbers give them courage. This courage is misplaced, for we will turn them aside from House Brumbar with ease. Make yourself ready. Oh, that's quite a few of them. Okay, that's nice. Are we there to deal with the smaller ones? I think that's the last of them. Return to Knifeman with these tidings. Okay, cool. Easy. Now to get those grave rubbings. Indeed, Goblin Slayer. Slay a lot of goblins here. We're not going to bother with that for now at least. Traits. I wanted to check something. I cannot do anything with that yet. Never mind. I think I'm almost there. Okay. Indeed, as we've known before, Barkas and Bats. If only he told us to do this while we're here. But I suppose it cannot be helped. Oh, this is also one of those things that I absolutely love about this game. Is the fact that basically, if you're too far away from an item you want to interact with, the game will automatically let you walk to it. Don't have to do anything for that. Go eat dirt. Goodbye. I'm not gonna battle you. I don't feel it's necessary. There will be always more of you, and not enough time to deal with you. I'm almost out of tea. Done. Right back. Grab our loot. Let's see if anything of this is useful. These can be discarded because they are not. Now, most of this is absolute trash, but a few of these things are useful. For example, these cases, they will give you different recipes that you may or may not have discovered yet. And it's, yeah, when you go into crafting, which I will do in here because I find crafting to be rather boring, you are provided with a number of basic recipes, and the rest you will have to find while out there adventuring. So it gives you just even more reason to go out there and adventure. Very good. These rubbings are clear and easy to read, and the information will be most helpful in piecing together some gaps in the histories. Go across the way in the bookshelf containing our lineages and place these grave rubbings on the right shelf. Come back and speak to me when you have done this.
Greetings.
You have returned, Elaine. I must applaud you and apologize at the same time. I still did not believe you were trustworthy. These are dark days, and the Dunedain cannot afford to trust so easily. But you have proven yourself to me many times over. I will tell Calenglad that your errand must not be hindered. Do not think less of me. The Dunedain have not survived through the long years by having an abundance of trust. Okay. I have to do something with this. Bookshelf. There we go. Now I can go back to Forham.
How can I be of service?
Thank you for your efforts, Elaine. For my part, I believe that you have been sent by Aragorn, and I hope that Calenglad will help you with due haste. I will tell him that you are not a tomb robber, and that your assistance has been of great help to me. Calenglad, Calenglad, Calenglad. There you are.
What do you need?
I have heard from my brethren, Elaine, and they are satisfied that you are who you say you are. I apologize for my mistrust, but you cannot be too careful of strangers in these dark days, no matter whose letters they claim to carry. I will help you acquire the Silithar for my lord Aragorn, but the power to do so does not lie with me. I must journey to speak with Gwyndeth, and I think it best that I alone make that journey.
What do you need?
Many years have passed since I first beheld Gwyndeth, the Blue Lady of Nenuel. But on that day I resolved to do anything in my power to preserve her peace and the safety of the lake she loved. My duties here are twofold, oaths folding in all oaths, for I swore to Aragorn in his youth the vow I swore to his father, to uphold the line of Elendil using all of my strength. The protection of Gwyndeth and Lake Nenual also serves this oath, for Gwyndeth is the protector of the Silithar. Long has she maintained the flood that keeps the stone safe from robbers and plunderers. True-hearted she is, but slow to trust. She shares that in common with the Dunedain. I must speak with her alone, but the work of keeping Evendim safe will not stand for the delay caused by my journey to her home. I would have you travel northeast to Ostforod in Tenfonach and offer your aid to a friend of the Rangers, Robin Dunkley. He is our ally against those who would plunder Numinas. I will send word to Robin when I have returned from my meeting with Gwyndeth. Now, let's see. Go straight over there. Now, I will admit that these are exactly the kind of side quests that I preferred not to do. However, because they are in service of reforging Narsil into Anduril, I will make an exception here. Because that is a very worthy endeavor that I should actually pursue. Even if it comes a little bit at the expense of other lore in the main storyline. Plus, it will help me level up a bit, which I think is rather useful in the coming journey. Just hope it doesn't take too long. And in the meantime, we will travel and travel and travel until we find this Robin Dunkley.
What do you need?
Now, plenty of others who want me to do stuff for them, but I will not allow myself to be sidetracked a lot. There he is, Robin Dunkley.
Woe to me.
You've come from Calenglad. I am very glad to hear it, for friends of the Rangers are fewer now than they were of old. There is no shortage of trouble among the hills of Tenfonach, and it seems that more and more of these ruffians appear every day. If we don't turn them out of Evendim, they're sure to plunder every last relic that remains from the height of the Old Kingdom. That would be a real shame if you ask me.
I don't know if you can help
Life
me.
is hard in Ternfonach, Elaine, and some of the folk who live here at Ostforod have begun dealing with the robbers in order to better their fortunes. It pains me to say this, but even now in Ostforod you can find relics stolen from Anuminas. We should return these relics to the Rangers of Tynedale, Elaine. It's the right thing to do. You can find a chest full of stolen artifacts among the tents on the highest level of Ostforod, north of here. Please understand that the folk of Ostforod who trade with the robbers are not bad people. Their desperation makes them unfriendly and more willing to compromise their values, but I do not want you to hurt them. Carry the chest to the Ranger Astiel in Tynedale to the southwest, and avoid the unfriendly man of Ostforod. They will find other means of sustaining themselves as this easy but reprehensible road is close to them. Be sure to speak with Astiel when you have delivered the chest. Now, I'm afraid this will be a carrying quest, so I am very likely to have to do this on foot while trying to avoid, like when you see on this minimap, that kind of person. But I first have to find this chest. I hope it's around here somewhere. And there it is. Yep, as I suspected, I will have to walk. Not walk off the ledge. Avoid the unfriendly guys. Lag there. Oh no, there's an unfriendly guy just up the road. Avoid him. And now to make the long walk home. I also think that as much as I would like to take a shortcut, I am going to follow the road and avoid as many unfriendly eyes as possible, because I believe that probably when I'm attacked carrying this, the quest will fail and I will have to start over. So I'd rather not do that, because these kinds of quests are tedious enough as is. La 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 la. No. Past this stone. Avoid the scavenger. Avoid the other scavenger. Because I could not help myself to take that small shortcut. And around this hill, will find the bridge that leads to Tinadir. And so in but a few short moments we will have delivered this chest of relics to the rangers. Now you have to keep in mind that these relics are actually quite important because, as I said, this was Anuminas, the seat of the kings of Arnor, and therefore of great importance to the Dunedain, who are in fact the old or descendants of the people of Arnor, of the people of Gondor. So yeah, their history is incredibly important.
What do you need?
Robin sent you to bring that chest of stolen relics then? Very good, very good. He's an old man and be crotchety at times, but his heart is in the right place. He has long been a good friend to the Dunedain. Return to him with my thanks, and I will see about returning these artifacts to their proper places. Okay, right back to him. Always fun to do these back and forth quests. Not. But at least it's not that far, so it's fairly easy to do, I guess. And this time I am going to take the shortcut. It's not gonna shave much of my time off, but in my opinion, every second saved is a good second. At least on horse it's a lot faster than it is on foot. And after we talk to Robin, I think it's time for another short break.
Can't you leave me to my misery?
Welcome back, Elaine. I trust that you have delivered the chest of stolen relics to Estiel. Excellent. But enough dilly-dallying. I have great news.
I'm sure it will do no good, but...
While you were gone,
May I
I heard
speak
that a
with
group
you?
of robbers transporting relics from the islands ran into a spot of trouble with the bears of Tien Forner. Isn't that wonderful? Apparently they had hoped to give Tinadir a wide berth and had circled far to the east in a great loop. But they went too far and stumbled upon the bears at Nan Orngon. What luck! Bad for them, but good for us, Elaine. Head east to Ostforod to Nan Orngon and search the bodies for the relics the robbers brought with them. Bears don't care about such things, so I figured they won't mind if we return them to the rangers. Use caution while at Nan Orngon, friend. Bears do not discriminate between true-hearted friends of the Dunedain and villainous tomb robbers. Okay, so we have to go there. Now this is a bit of a harder quest, but I believe we will still be able to do it. And more importantly, if we can avoid the bears, we should be fine. So, but first, I am going to take a quick break, get me some more tea, and so I'll be back in a few minutes. See you in a bit. And I'm back. Let's continue. We have to go and find some more relics that had been stolen by some grave robbers. And the grave robbers, while trying to avoid being caught by the rangers, unfortunately for them, got caught by a bunch of bears. So we're gonna try and sneak our way through these bears and hopefully get these relics. They are around here somewhere. There they are. Let's hope we can simply grab them and move straight on out of here. Away from these very aggressive bears. Now if we get many more of these high level quests, I might actually opt out of doing them, but for now it's fine.
I'm sorry. Did you need something?
This statuary is very interesting and very old. I wonder how many pieces of this statue have already been claimed by robbers. If we can assemble the complete statue, I know that Calanglad and the other rangers would be pleased.
Might I take a moment of your time?
I expect that the robbers that prowl Tirn Fonech are carrying more pieces of this broken statuary. If you can recover more of these fragments, I might be able to reassemble it. Wouldn't that be something? I expect Calanglad and the rest of the rangers would be so pleased. Look for robbers among the hills of Tirn Fonech and take statue pieces from them, Lane. You'll most likely find only small pieces on these robbers, but one or two might carry larger pieces. The villains have also established a camp of swords to the west, on the island of Rantost in the lake. You might find larger pieces of the statue there. Return to me with any statue pieces you can recover, and I'll see if I can remake it. Now, let's see... where? Oh, right over there. Okay. That should be fine. Let me just make my way towards that place then. Okay, this is not very... Ouch! Ow, ow, ow. Up this hill and over it. Oh, 2 blocks. Go bite death. Good. Yeah. Even though that guy was apparently way above my level, he was very, very easy to defeat. elven prowess for you. Already have 3 of the larger pieces. That's nice. Still gonna see if I can find that camp of theirs. Because if they are close together, it will be a lot easier to okay, those are goblins. I don't like dealing with them. Yeah, let's knock over. As I was saying, the closer they are together, easier it will be to find them, and the faster I will get these pieces. I want to avoid the local wildlife. I do want to deal with the robbers. I think this is goblin territory again, so I'll give that a wide berth. I don't think I can avoid this guy. Go. Now that we've moved through this pass, I think it's about time we start to descend again. Oh, brave robber. There we go. 3 more pieces. There's 1. I think I'm just going to go south, because I think I should be able to find a couple more in this area. Oh, they are proving hard to find right now. There's 1. One more. Please be around here somewhere. Yay! Let's see if there's an easy way back up. I don't need to, I think. Just go around here. I think I ought to go down instead of up. So we'll follow the foot of this rather large hill. And there is the opening arch on Tin Fornach. The loot that I've gathered.
Woe to me.
Very good, Elaine. Very good indeed. It doesn't look like all of these belong to the statue I'm trying to put back together, but I think enough of them do that I can make a good start of it. Do you know? I think this might be a statue of Elendil. I wonder where once it stood. Perhaps it shall stand there again someday. There is troubling talk around Ostford, my friend. Stay, and I will tell you of it.
I'm sure it will do no good, but...
A hunter
May I
by the
speak
name
with
of
you?
Nat Rapkins often travels far to the northwest, crossing the cold waters of the even rills that feed into the lake, and conducts his hunts in Emin Uyal. Nat is a woodsman of no small skill and should have returned by now. His family is overcome with concern. I did not want to say anything to them about it, but I heard a terrible howling along the shore last evening. It had been driven from my mind with all of our doings against the tomb robbers, but now I wonder if those dreadful howls had something to do with poor Nat. If you would journey northwest to the northernmost tip of the lake and cross the even rills there to search for Nat Rapkins, I would greatly appreciate it. He has been gone for far too long, and I fear what end he may have found. He is sure to have remained in sight of the lake if that was within his power, so do not stray too far from it. So let's go back the way we came, and I think we will see if we can descend towards the lake side and make our way around the lake that way. So take the downhill here, and I know we need to go a bit more north, but this way is likely to be less scary. At least when it comes to sun drops and cliffs and everything. Or so I was thinking. But now, looking at the lake, I'm not so sure anymore. Oh, this is steep, and I have to go down. Ouch, ouch, don't! Ah! Ouch. Luckily, fall damage in this game is very, very forgiving. As in, I don't think I've ever died from falling. The best you get, I believe, is a debuff that reduces movement speed for some time. And the larger the fall, the longer the debuff will take. But yeah, I've had way worse than that. Where do I need to go? I need to go further around. Okay. Let's see. Can move up this impossibly steep hill. And then move around. Because I believe we want to go just around these waterfalls. Luckily we can jump across. Because those are some fast flowing waters. Oh. There we go. That's Nad Rapkins.
You startled me.
You there. I attacked by Gauradine. Terrible creatures. Take my pack. Bring it ost forward. Okay. I have to go. Go away! I don't like that. I don't like being pursued. Get away from me. These hills are so tall. Why do I even have to go? Ah! Now, this is what I meant by... Oh god. Purple, way out of your level. These are even level 100. And as you can see, they are glowing red with an eye at the top, which means they are elite. Like, these are normal, these are elite ones, and the big one, that's a boss. We do not want to tangle with that one, especially considering he is level 100 and I am a mere level 31. Definitely do not want to tangle with that one. Instead, let's give him a wide berth. See if we can move up here. Looks like this is a little bit of an easier path to take. I think I'm almost there. You think I could take them, Mitchell? Ah, that is funny. Thank you. Did you actually see the health bar of that guy? Okay, Kuroi. Enjoy your sleep, I guess. Have a good night, and I hope you wake up refreshed. Oh. I am going the wrong way. I should be going here. Okay. Mitchell, look at my health bar in the top left. It says 682. That guy had 336,000. He would flatten me in about no seconds. Like, if he just looked at me, I probably would just absolutely, completely, utterly faint. No thanks. I appreciate the faith you have in me, but I think my realism will take precedence there. Now, I need some drink, so I'm going to grab my tea and enjoy it while it's hot.
I'm sorry, did you need something?
I was afraid you would return with such news, Elaine. Nat was a good hunter, well liked by the people here and will be missed. I will return the pack to his family and give them these sad tidings. You say he spoke of the Gauradine? Yes, I feared as much. They have always been a danger to those who find themselves in Emin Uyal. But it has been many years since last they proved so bold. Something must be done, Elaine. Yes, Mitchell, I will take him on later. Like, way later. That will take months, I think, if not more. Considering how much time I'm taking to actually progress. Oh god, it's too high level. I can't go there. That sucks. Let me see if this place has a meeting stone or whatever the thing was that I told you earlier about. Milestone. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. Find it, because if I don't forget, I do want to get back here to forge Anduril. But for now, I am going to return to, I think, Bree, because I'm fairly sure I can get to names are hard. Imladder's from there. And from Imladris, we can continue with the main story. Loading, loading, loading. There we go. Let's take the south road. Go through Market Gate. Okay, let's let the game catch up a little bit. I think it's either dying on me or it just has a hard time. There we go. Loading in all the textures here. That's what you get when you run an old computer, guys. And girl, obviously. And anyone in between.
How can I be of service?
Okay. Alright, 1, 2, travel to. Where are you? Rivendell. Travel. Yay! Look at that elk. So pretty. I want one of those. Can I please buy one of these elks? No? Sad. Well, I guess I will just have to do with my plain old horse then. And I'm sorry, horsey. I don't mean to insult you. You're a real good looking horse. Not trusty. You've brought me places. But it's not the same. Like, it's so bad to flip off horses in this way. But still, like, come on, an elk. Who wouldn't want to ride an elk? Now, let's go see Eladon. Now, he was supposed to be just outside of Elrond's chambers, so let's see if we can find him there. There he is. Hail, Elaine. Elroy here has gone ahead to search the Brunnen, but he wished to pass on his greetings as well. We're to travel south to Eregion, then through the Redhorn Pass into Lothlorien. Make any preparations you may require. We have a long trek ahead of us. Let's travel. There we go. Other scouts already told me about the insects swarming the Brunnen, but I've never seen such an infestation before. Elroy here and I agreed to see how many we could each defeat before meeting downstream. Since he's already gotten a head start, perhaps we could work together. Surely that doesn't count as cheating? Mikabrikas. It seems the swarm found the Black Rider's mounts. I count only 3 steeds, however. The river must have carried the rest further. Go find Elroy here in the fence and see if he requires aid. I shall stay behind to make sure the riders did not escape into the woods. Oh, and let him know how many insects we defeated. I'm sure he was no match for us. The best way to flip off a horse is to tell a horse that he or she is replaceable. You see, horses are quite noble and intelligent creatures. They allow you to ride them when they want to, and not because you want to. There he is. Mind you that I am not an equestrian. I know literally nothing about horses except from what I've read somewhere. Paladin convinced you to help him with our little competition, didn't he? I kept track at first, but Elroy gestures to the nearby corpses with a sigh. What I found, or rather what I didn't find, troubled me. 3 horses upstream, 5 here. That makes 8 of the 9 mounts accounted for. I scoured every part of the woods for the riders, but to no avail. If any of them linger in the troll shores, they have made themselves scarce. Hold on. What's that in the water? Is that a cloak? Let's see what they have to say. Yay, no answers. Oh. He wants us to travel, but let us get the mission rewards first, and then travel. Before I forget, I should get the milestone in Ladris. I have faith that the waters of the Brunnen dealt the riders a devastating blow. However, the less certain we are of the riders' fates, the more worried my heart grows. Tracking the movements of the enemy is of the utmost importance for our errand. After everything that's happened, I find our lack of information unsettling. Now, these look like side quests. So I think I'm not going to do them for now. I am going to grab it. Just in case. Where am I at? Okay, somewhere. I think I can get there fairly easily from Rivendell. So I shall go back. Try to find the stable master here. Over there.
What can I do for you?
And then quickly travel to Rivendell. Then see where I can find the milestone here. It's just down there. This quest. And after that, I am going to see where I need to go to get the next main quest. Because right now I've been doing side quests and I really would like to go back to the main quest. Almost there. Let's see. Let's override that one. And I am going to quickly Google where I have to go. I don't know. Well, I suppose I will have to research this offline. However, I am not going to stop streaming just quite yet, as I have been wanting to get back into Final Fantasy XIV, and I've really wanted to get back into it. So I am going to take a quick break while I set up Final Fantasy, and yeah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. So see you in a bit.